Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of From Principles to Practice. I am your host, Apostle Dr. Ivon Valerie, and today we are doing something a little different. In today's episode, we will take some time and dive into the most pressing and intriguing questions you, our listeners, have sent in. Let's get into our first question. What does it truly mean to be a part of a community beyond just being present physically? Thank you so much, listener, for sending in this question. Being part of a community goes far beyond just physical presence. It's about being emotionally and spiritually invested. It's also about understanding that community is not a place, but it's a living organism. You see, community, it breathes, it grows, and it evolves. And it evolves with the collective input of everyone involved. I hope that makes sense. So, when you understand that your presence, whether it's your ideas, whether it's your support, or even your encouragement, when you understand that your presence can be a catalyst for change, that's when you begin to tap into the true essence of community. You see, many people see community as something they attend, but the reality is community is something you contribute to. You are as much a part of its growth as it is of yours. So the next time you walk into a room, remember that you are not just occupying space. No. You are contributing to a living, breathing entity. And that's the real power of community. And that's where its power lies. Let's move on to our next question. Why do you think some people struggle to find their place in a community, even when they desperately want to belong? This is such an important question because it touches on the core of our human existence. And that core is our desire to belong. We all have a desire to belong. The struggle often comes from an internal conflict between our identity and the perceived expectations of the community that we are a part of. We fear judgment, we fear rejections, or maybe it could be something simple like not measuring up to what we believe others expect from us. But we all have fears. But here's the revelation. True community does not require you to change who you are. It requires you to bring all of who you are to that community. And when you embrace your authentic self and allow yourself to be vulnerable, you open the door to genuine connections. Now, you can experience change because of a community, but you don't change to try to fit in the community when you initially come. The community helps, it grows, but you have to be your true authentic self so the community can be genuine. The issue is not so much about finding a place in the community, but about bringing your place into the community. So when you realize that the community needs that authentic you, not a version you think they want, that's when you'll find your sense of belonging. It's about synergy, not conformity. Let's go on to our next question. Can a community exist without a shared purpose? Is a common goal essential? The truth is, when we look at it from a technical point of view, a community can exist without a shared purpose, but it will be fragile and eventually it will fall apart. See, the common goal is what I call the glue that holds the community together. It's what gives it direction. It gives it momentum. It gives it resilience in the face of challenges, that shared goal. Think of a community as a ship. The shared purpose is the compass. Without it, the ship may drift, and while it may stay afloat for a time, it's likely to get lost or stranded eventually. But with a shared purpose, the community knows where it's headed, and everyone can contribute their strengths toward reaching that destination. Now, I want you to pay close attention to this, because the purpose doesn't have to be a grand or world-changing purpose. It just needs to be meaningful to the people involved. A small shared purpose can have a huge impact on the cohesion and the strength of a community. There are communities that have been built upon the shared goal of sports, of a game, maybe something like gardening. It doesn't matter how grand it is or how small it is. Once that shared goal is what keeps the community together, that will almost guarantee the community's success. All right, let's move on. How does one deal with the feeling of isolation even when they are surrounded by a community? This question is a very, very, very good question. You see, isolation in the midst of community is more common than we realize. It often stems from a disconnect between what the community offers and what the individual needs. Sometimes it's because we are wearing a mask, trying to fit in rather than standing out as ourselves. We looked at that earlier on in the previous question. But here's something to consider. Isolation can also be an opportunity. You see, isolation can be a signal that something deeper within you needs to be addressed. Perhaps it's a call to reach out, or to seek deeper connections, or to even contribute in a more meaningful way. Whatever it is, it just might be something to consider. It might be an opportunity. It might be a sign. The most profound connections often come from vulnerability. When you feel isolated, it's an invitation to let down the walls that you've built around yourself. Share your struggles, your doubts, your fears. You'll be surprised, trust me, you'll be surprised how many people in your community feel the same way, but they are waiting for someone to make the first move. Community is built in the spaces where we dare to be real with one another. So allow yourself to be vulnerable. And if you feel isolated within your community, consider that to be an opportunity or a sign to become even more vulnerable. Next question. What role does forgiveness play in maintaining a strong community? We get back to this forgiveness question again. We looked at this question in the first Q&A we had, but I love it. I would say forgiveness is the lifeblood of any community. Without it, resentment and bitterness will creep in, and it will poison relationships, and it will destroy the trust that the community so desperately needs. When forgiveness is allowed to flow freely within a community, it creates an environment where people feel safe to make mistakes and to be imperfect, and also to grow, because all of this is part of growth. And so it's very important that forgiveness be the lifeblood of any community. Forgiveness in a community isn't just about resolving conflicts. It's also about preserving the future. When you forgive, you're not just letting go of the past. You're investing in the continuity and the growth of the community. It's like saying, I value this relationship, I value this community I value it so much that I choose to let go of my pain and work towards healing for the betterment of this community. In a way, forgiveness is the ultimate act of love in a community. It allows the community to renew itself. It allows the community to heal and to move forward stronger than before. Let's move on to our final question for today. How can one contribute to a community when they feel they have nothing to offer? This is a question that touches many hearts because we all, at times, feel inadequate and unworthy. But here's the truth. Everyone, regardless of your gender, regardless of your past, regardless of your educational background, everyone has something to offer. Even if it's not immediately obvious, you have something to offer. Contributing to a community isn't just about material or skillful-based offerings. It's about presence, it's about your energy, it's about your intentions, it's about your character, it's about your perspective as well. Sometimes your greatest contribution is simply showing up, offering a listening ear to someone, or just being a source of encouragement, even to the person that is always the encourager in the community. Because we all have difficult times. We all have times when we are not where we're supposed to be. And we all need encouragement here or there in our lives. So, understanding that the simplest gestures can become the most powerful contributions you could ever give in a community. Understanding that allows us to just free ourselves from that pressure of not being able to contribute like everybody else. It could be a kind word, just a smile, or just being present in someone's life. These simple gestures can have a rippling effect that transforms. Trust me, it can transform an entire community. Never underestimate the power of your presence and your willingness to be there for others. This is what community is all about. Well, we had an incredible session today. I hope these answers have sparked some new insights and encouraged you to see community in a new light. Remember, whatever community you are a part of, you just be yourself and you will bring help to somebody else. Community is not just something we are part of, it's something we actively build and nurture with our actions, words, and presence. So be careful about your actions, be careful about your words, be careful about your presence. Don't hold them back, don't withhold them from the community. They are needed. Thank you for joining me today. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe, share it with your friends, and leave a review. Let's continue to build and strengthen our communities together, one principle at a time. You have been listening to From Principles to Practice. I have been your host, Apostle Dr. Ivon Valerie. I'm reminding you to live with purpose, practice what you preach, and always stay connected with your community. Connect with us via our email, that is fromprinciplestopractice@gmail.com, or you can get us on our website, podcast.fromprinciplestopractice.com. Once again, have a blessed remainder of your day and continue to show up in your community so you can be the source of strength that someone needs. God bless you.